You basically moon the sun, exposing your anus to direct sunlight.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
I've tried that before.
Have you tried that? Yeah, I think we've all done that. Welcome to another episode of No Results, Only Excuses, where we talk fitness, nonsense, and partial facts. My name is Matthew Barman, and as always, my co-hosts,
Courtney Dick.
And Justin Juggernaut Swart.
The cameraman.
We're on episode 20.
20, really?
Yep.
Oh, jeez,
I was
we made it.
thinking about
I thought it was 19.
maybe we're on episode 19.
I was going to say, I was wondering why you guys didn't make a bigger thing about the fact that we're on episode 20.
I think you're right, it's episode
Because
19.
we're on 19. That's why.
Alright,
Yeah.
there you have it, 19.
We made it.
Sorry
to
everyone, we made it to
so,
19. We got Justin to sit down 19 times.
Yeah. So we'll see if we can do it another 19 times.
Very
By
kind
that
of you
time,
guys.
he'll switch the camera on.
Yes.
He's got it with him today.
I don't know what
He's
the
sitting
fuck's-
with his camera today.
I don't know
He
what's
had
wrong.
one job and he's got halfway through with it.
I don't know how to switch it on.
Have you checked
the
if
on
the
button.
memory card's full and then there's a
Maybe
battery?
you charge the battery.
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. Well, maybe by episode 20 he'll get that right. Let's go into the news.
Into the news. There wasn't much news. There actually is lots of news, but this is the most important news.
Was it boring CrossFit news?
Yeah, it's boring CrossFit news.
So we decided not to talk about it again.
Yeah, it pretty much is boring CrossFit news.
Yeah.
I tried to Google like fitness news and gym news, and then you tap news in Google,
Yeah.
and then it kind of finds the news. A lot of it's international stuff.
Ah.
So before we start, Justin, when last did you do butt chugging?
Butt chugging.
Yeah.
Back at university.
University.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice, man. Did you have any benefits after it?
No. Do you mean when you funnel a beer through someone's butt?
Yeah. I've never done that. Is that what it is?
Is that what you did?
No.
He's changed his story. He means yes.
But
I don't admit it on
I'm sure I've seen someone else do it.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's like a colon cleansing.
Oh, okay. I've never done colon cleansing before, but I've heard that it's become very popular,
Yeah.
especially because of the healthy gut flora that you can insert into yourself
Really?
Oh, there we go. So we just got to add an
or
extra.
flush out of yourself.
Add extra to the news piece.
Is that going to
Because
be
it has
show-
nothing to do with what I asked you.
So we're going to do that for show number 20. Justin's going to sign up and go for a course of...
Then you can finally use your camera.
So you go for a butt flush
Yeah?
and then a rectal implant
Of
Is that
bacteria.
That's what you're
someone-
going to do next week.
of someone else's feces.
Okay.
Oh, that's
So
disgusting.
if any...
Imagine you putting your poo in my bum.
That's pretty much what it's all about. Like you get
That's
this little earbud
yeah?
and then just
Oh,
stick
no.
it in there.
Do you build like different cultures or
Yes,
something in
you
you?
build different cultures, and certain cultures have different benefits for your gut microbiome.
Okay.
Okay, on with the show.
But wait. If anybody wants to sign up for that,
Email Justin.
DM us and
DM.
Justin will do
Yeah, I've been collecting different samples.
it. All from the floor in the gym.
We want to know. I would like 2011 Justin, please. I would like those cultures.
Sure.
Yeah, you can
I
give
mean,
him
downstairs here by the toilets around 5 p.m. before a CrossFit class.
Oh,
There's
nice.
plenty to
It's
choose from.
fresh 2020, Justin.
Oh, jeez.
Okay, so to carry on, this isn't really news. This was like a viral post that went viral. Well, yeah, that is going viral. Is it in Australia?
I'm not sure,
Particularly.
but I heard about it in Australia
And from the Australian
from Australians.
side.
Yeah.
It's called perineum sunning.
Perineum?
Perineum?
Perineum sunning.
Also known as butt chugging sunlight. You basically moon the sun, exposing your anus to direct sunlight.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
I've tried that before.
Have you tried that? Yeah, I think we've all done that.
Yeah.
In our own special way.
I mean, let's be honest. It's great for psoriasis sufferers as well.
So the claim is that like 30 seconds of sunlight beamed right onto your mucous membranes of the anus is the same as being in the sun all day. That's the
Wow.
claim by this guy, the
Is
viral
that because
post.
of like the vitamin D exposure that
Yeah, so
goes through a very absorbent part of your body?
well, yeah. So there's no evidence that different locations of the body lets you synthesize vitamin D better. But basically, they're saying like, why not? You can use your anus and your ass. The benefit might be that it's a bigger area that's getting sun on it.
Sure.
But there's no evidence that this is there's more sun going in that way better
than through
You
your
know,
eyes or your mouth
face, your forehead, whatever.
or your
But
chest.
you could do it that way if you like. So it's up to you.
When you say it's a bigger area, do you mean for those with bigger butts?
Yes, I guess your
Because my
glutes
butt's
are a
not
bit
very
bigger.
big.
I suppose you could do your tummy and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Apologies to anyone
So you're going to try it
offended.
in your house
We're all gonna try it and
Yeah.
let you know.
all together.
So since there was a shitty piece of news, I did a little bit more research, and so recommendations for sun exposure typically is in the range of 5 to 30 minutes
Per day?
per week.
Per week?
Yeah.
Cheapest.
Midday is the best time apparently. High is the sun is at its peak.
Yeah.
But it is hard to tell. Like it's hard to really give a number to each person because everyone's different. Your type of skin, the place that you live, the age and everything.
Yes.
So it's really hard to some doctors tell you 5 minutes.
If you're albino or not.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There we
then
go.
you should definitely not go for
So
30
take
minutes.
everything as partial. This is all just stuff I took off Google.
5 to 30 minutes sounds very little amount of time to be in the sun.
Well, it's enough to get your vitamin D up to, I didn't write it down, I think it's like 300 UI or something like that.
Oh.
I don't know what So the reason we want better vitamin D is it helps you keep your bones strong by controlling the calcium in your blood.
Okay. Good.
And did you guys know that vitamin D is not a vitamin?
Oh, they've mislabeled it then.
Yes.
They try
for
to
years.
confuse us.
Yeah,
What
it's
is it?
selling us vitamin D. It's a hormone. It's actually a pro-hormone. Pro-hormones are substances that the body converts to a hormone.
I think Dr. Duncan Carmichael would appreciate this podcast.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
We should
Dr.
actually
Duncan
interview him
Carmichael.
one day.
Dr. D, they call him.
Dr. D. Dr. Vitamin D.
Dr. Pro-hormone D.
Okay, cool. So you're going to try the chugging the sun later by your pool.
Yes.
Send us a photo
Send us photo
from
or
a
video.
tasteful angle.
Why don't you send us
Sure.
a video? Why don't you get Chelsea to record you straight from,
I actually might have a few videos on my phone.
Yeah,
Oh,
he's
you
already
already
got
previous
those videos.
ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're on his phone, so they're probably of Chelsea.
And then post your cultures and how much you are selling them for.
From 2010.
It's actually my new side hustle.
Yes.
I'm hoping to make more money that way than through this podcast.
I want the cultures of the year that you were at your most fittest.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, that's actually still to come.
Is that still coming?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's still
yeah.
to come.
Future, you place your order now, pre-order.
Pre-order
Yes.
for week 2010, Justin. Or,
Yeah.
no. Okay, main topic of the day.
What are we going to talk about today? Injuries. Injuries in CrossFit and in strength training in general.
Yes.
And Justin apparently has some funny stories to tell us about that later. But you always hear that injuries in training in the CrossFit and in strength sports like weightlifting and powerlifting are really, really high. And we wanted to find out if it really is true. But do you remember, Justin? You must remember the NSCA.
Yes, of course.
What does that stand for?
The National Strength Conditioning Association.
Yes, very good. But they're like an American people. And they really hated CrossFit a couple of years ago, and they faked some studies. Well, I don't think they 100% faked the study, but they misinterpreted their own results. And they over-reported injuries in CrossFit, saying that the injury rates was really, really high. And apparently after a whole lot of years of legal battle, CrossFit finally managed to overturn this study. And now people can't say anymore that the injury rates in CrossFit are incredibly high.
But the social damage was done, or the media frenzy.
Yes.
The damage has been done, I guess.
Yeah, that perception is still there.
I think people are educated these days enough to know that certain news or facts can be deemed as partial facts or fake news.
Yeah.
I think we're a big advocate for partial facts.
Yeah.
We know that just by talking bullshit, some people might get misled. And I think that's exactly what the NSCA did. Whether they were doing it consciously or subconsciously, I guess is irrelevant. The point is they put information out there which misled an entire industry, so to speak, and defamed and just ruined and tarnished CrossFit's image. At least that's what they try to do.
Yeah.
And I think CrossFit did a great job of not just rolling on their back and saying, sure guys, go ahead, say what you want, defame us. They actually stood up to them and took them to court and won, which I think is amazing, because you don't often hear of these court cases always turning out to be in the favor of those that are complaining.
Yeah.
There's obviously a lot of money involved, and I think CrossFit finds themselves in a strong enough position to pursue their interests financially and legally, which is encouraging.
Yeah.
It shows that the sport and the methodology of training is in good stead.
Yeah. So they want something. They probably won't win against Coca-Cola.
That's a big one, eh?
Yeah, that's I don't know.
Like CrossFit.
They'll never win that, but at least they want something. So we decided to find some actual real studies not done by fake scientists to compare injury rates in sports. And the first thing that we discovered is that there's actually no one standard definition of injury, which is a bit of a problem because different studies look at it in different ways. And obviously, the wider the definition of injuries, the more injuries end up being recorded by the studies. So there are some definitions here that we can look at, and the first one to define an injury is if you're totally removed from your sport for more than 1 week, or if you have to modify your training for more than 2 weeks.
Sure, that's very broad.
Which article did you choose to? Did you just find? There's a bunch of different ones.
There's a whole lot of different articles.
So you just have to get the best.
Yeah.
The best.
So we just tried to put it together.
So based on that definition, if I get injured in the middle of my session and I can't complete it,
yeah,
I'm not injured.
No.
I'm temporarily dysfunctional.
Yes.
Until I have been removed from training for up to 2 weeks.
Yeah, so more than a week, then you're injured. And if you had to modify it for more than 2 weeks, then you're also injured.
I'm going to
You
challenge.
modify your movements.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to challenge that definition.
You're saying you're always injured, or you're never injured.
I'm going to say that if you have to stop a workout or modify a workout because you're uncomfortable or sore in that moment, you're injured.
Yeah. But then the injury rate's going to be really, really high.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, because we do that all the time. You're like, oh, I feel a little bit of a tweak in my shoulder, I didn't warm up properly, or man, I did 150 wall balls yesterday and now I have to squat a max today.
Okay, so then what word can we use to define that state of being?
Just a little bit...
Pussies.
Yes, I'm being a bitch.
Just a little bit niggly.
Niggle, yeah.
I got a niggle.
I got a niggle.
Rich Froning
Yeah.
says, what? There's always a different place. The
Yes.
niggle moves to another place
Yes.
all the time. But it's always there.
It's always there.
Yeah.
Chases you. Do you have niggles that run around your body?
Niggly.
Yes.
Oh, you must.
Yes. I have niggles that go from knee to lower back to elbow to wrist to fucking hamstring sometimes.
Yeah.
Mine's just from knee to lower back most of the time.
Yeah. My left shoulder is always tight, so
Yeah.
it's always niggly.
I don't think we warm up enough in general. I would say most injuries stem from lack of warm up, and perhaps lack of understanding of what to do to best prepare the body sometimes for what's to come.
Yeah.
So it's like it's hard for the layman to identify when their shoulders, hips and knees are needing attention or needing to be reset to an anatomically suited position in order to train.
Yeah.
And they usually rely on fitness professionals to tell them.
Yeah.
But even that, sometimes fitness professionals get it wrong.
Yeah. I mean, coaches are not physical therapists.
Yeah.
So, I mean, just because you know movement and you know like the basics of physical therapy doesn't mean you know everything about all injuries.
Of course.
Yeah. So there are two types of injuries that they've talked about, and the one is overuse injuries,
Yes.
which is sort of repetitive trauma just from doing too much. I did way too many pull-ups, and then I did push presses the next day, and then I did bent over rows, and now my shoulders are just buggered.
Yes.
So there's overuse injuries, and then there are traumatic injuries, like I pulled a hamstring, or I hurt my knee standing up from a squat, something that's acute and it just happens really, really quickly. Yeah.
So overuse kind of falls a little bit more under niggles. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you would get a bit of a golfer's elbow or
Yeah, tendonitis.
Yeah.
yeah.
I think overuse is a big one in that like inflammation is easy to create with repetition.
Yeah.
But it's even easier to create if you're performing a movement incorrectly, or if your body is predisposed to inflammation based on, like I said earlier now, a less than ideal posture or anatomical position of a joint.
Yeah.
So like Matthew can do 100 burpees and I can do 100 burpees, but because I sat on a plane for 16 hours the day before, my hips have an anterior or posterior tilt based on my posture, and those burpees cause inflammation in my lower back.
Yeah.
So like again, it's all dependent on the state that you're in, whether you're going to get
Yeah,
a
if you're gonna
good
be bugging it
benefit
up.
or a bad benefit from a certain workout or movement.
Yeah. So if we look at what the most common injuries are, if you guys had to guess, just from seeing everything around the gym, seeing yourselves, what do you think? Where is the most common injury?
Shoulders.
Shoulders. What do you think?
Ooh, it's a tough one. Yeah, I think shoulders is definitely right up there. I think lower back is also
just gonna say back. You're gonna
very
say back.
common.
Yeah.
Lower back is, I think, even more common.
Yeah.
In my experience.
So the research backs that up. It says that the most common injuries are shoulders.
I didn't even read it.
You didn't read it. 25% of injuries are shoulders, 14% are lower back, and knees are 13%.
See, I fit in there. I'm just the average guy.
Just average.
I got a
Average
sore
injuries.
shoulder every now and then. My lower back's always buggered. My knee's buggered.
It feels like almost everyone has a shoulder injury.
Yeah.
At 25%, I'd be like, okay, maybe let's call it niggles. I'd be like 95% of people have a shoulder niggle
I'll
sometimes.
be
Is this all
honest.
CrossFit stats or
It's just it's
general?
also just general strength training.
Okay.
Yeah.
Guys, I'll be honest, I think a lot of the problem with shoulders is that in our formative years as kids, we do not do enough strength and conditioning. At least our generation. Like, fucking things like crossover symmetry didn't exist. I'll be honest, my parents weren't encouraging me to do 3 sets of 10 pull-ups on the monkey bars.
Yeah.
And I definitely didn't climb trees.
So it was basically straight into military press.
You know what I mean? It's like that, exactly. Your first exposure to any form of strength and conditioning as a young man is like bench press, shoulder press, lots of swimming, and maybe direct impact to your AC joints through playing contact sport like rugby. Nothing on the posterior chain. I don't even think that definition wasn't even circling around in the minds of kids that started with strength and conditioning at that age.
Yeah.
Be that like between the ages of like 15 and 20.
Yeah.
So like shoulders are fucked because the muscles required to stabilize and support them are severely underdeveloped.
Yeah.
And most physical training programs, I would say, in South Africa are underdeficient.
Yeah.
Is that a word?
Underdeficient.
Underdeficient
sounds like
insufficient.
A good thing. Insufficient. Yeah.
Insufficient and underdeveloped
Yeah, there we go.
in their program.
Yeah. For
And,
the shoulder.
and the kids are being failed.
Yeah. Do you think it's a school problem?
It's a school problem, definitely.
So but then that takes you to the question: is this these numbers, are they off the last 10 years or
Yeah, these are all recent studies.
recent studies?
Yeah.
So I mean, because you could say maybe in the next 10 years we'll start seeing the
Yeah.
numbers decrease.
I hope.
By what Justin was
I
saying now.
fucking hope so.
Yeah.
Indeficiencies.
my language.
Indeficiencies. Yeah, but these are mostly American studies.
Yeah.
So that also comes from that. And the shoulder was most commonly injured doing some kind of gymnastic movements. Like, we're not talking about CrossFit here, so it doesn't mean like I was doing ring muscle ups and I did my shoulder. Like, you could be at the Virgin Active doing strict pull-ups. That's gymnastics in a way.
Yeah.
Push-ups. Doing a push-up is gymnastic movement.
Yeah, it's very easy to hurt yourself doing a push-up, by the way.
And the lower back was most commonly injured doing powerlifting movements. Squat, deadlift, press, that sort of thing.
I wonder if the shoulders also, like, so many people just going straight to the gym and they haven't trained at all, and the first thing you're going to do is like, probably grab a bar, try hang on it, try to do a pull-up, try to do a push-up, because a lot of these guys aren't going to go there and try to do a ass-to-grass squat.
Yes.
They're going to go do something with their arm, try press a dumbbell up, even if it's 11 kilos, and then they bust their shoulder.
Yeah. And then the other interesting fact about common injuries is that the injury rate was significantly decreased with trainer involvement. So as soon as you get a trainer to look at you, your risk of injury goes down a hell of a lot, which I think is really important.
Yeah, makes sense.
And that's a top tip. So that brings us to the meat of what we wanted to talk about, is actually the injury rates. So another little guess for you there, before you guys read the notes there. Don't look at those cheat sheets. What percentage of people do you think of, let's say you guys are CrossFitters, so you got CrossFit experience. What percentage of people doing CrossFit in the last year do you think have experienced an injury? Let's use that definition where it took you out of CrossFit for a week, or you did CrossFit but you had to modify for 2 weeks or more. What percentage of people do you think did that in the last year?
20%. 100.
30%.
30%. See, right? Okay, so 30.5% of people in the last 12 months have had some kind of injury from CrossFit. And I don't think
Justin definitely reading this thing.
I don't think that's particularly high. No.
And I don't think that's particularly alarming either.
No.
It's very easy to get injury.
Pretty normal, huh?
Yeah, that's pretty normal. Like, I think if you had to ask runners what percentage of runners have been injured in the last year, I think it would be a lot more.
I'll tell you, I got shin splints, I got plantar fasciitis,
Yeah.
I got chafed heels,
Yeah.
I got a hamstring strain because I sprinted against my friend Scott Parker down the last 100 meters of the promenade.
Yeah. Man, I think if you had to ask guys, obviously I don't know the numbers, guys doing running, guys playing five-a-side soccer, guys playing touch rugby on the beach, I think that the injury rate would probably be just as high in those things.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's too bad. And then again, most of the injuries are to the shoulders and the back. Yeah. And there's some stats here that we got for CrossFit, is that the greatest number of injuries occurred in those who did CrossFit 3 to 5 times a week. And the injury rate was 0.27 per 1,000 hours. And we'll look at some of those numbers later. But 0.27 injuries per 1,000 hours, it's pretty low. Like you're not going to do 1,000 hours of CrossFit training a year if you're just going to class.
Listen, if you're not getting a niggle or an inflammation injury, if you want to call it that, you're probably not training hard enough.
Yeah. But I mean, look, there's 365 days in a year. If you did CrossFit every day, 1 hour every day, that would be 365 hours a year. So you'd get one injury every 3 years.
Yeah, that's not too bad.
Sounds fine.
It's a fair deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good deal.
It sounds like a fair deal.
Sign me up.
If it means I'm PBing my snatch and my clean and jerk as I go, and I'm able to get out of bed in the morning, then that's fine.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah. So they found that the injury rate for distance and track and field runners was between 19.4% and 79.3%.
Sure.
So that's
nuts.
That's seriously high. And the injuries for CrossFitters was no more than for long distance runners. It was actually a bit less.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's alarming. But I think a lot of people don't want to consider that because they're like, it won't happen to me.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just going to put my shoes on and go for a run down the block. 3 weeks later, you tell your friends I'm entering an Ironman.
Yes.
And you're like...
That's me and Matt.
And everyone applauds you and says, well done, Courtney, that's so admirable.
Yes.
You're going to do an Ironman.
Yeah.
And then what you don't realize is that you're going to have so much inflammation in your body because you didn't train for it. And you thought you were a hero.
Yeah.
That you're going to fucking break something.
It's going to be us. We're going to be heroes in November and we're going to smash ourselves.
Have you guys agreed to do it?
Oh man, we really want to. I've got my problems with the cycling and the swimming.
Okay.
I don't know.
I've just got commitment problems.
Commitment.
Yeah.
You struggle to commit long term, eh?
He's commitment phobic.
Yeah, I don't know. Yes.
He's going to do it.
Matt's struggling to answer the question.
Yes.
Matthew Schiff, you'll be doing this Ironman alone.
I talked to him yesterday and I was like, yeah, but I'm just thinking like I gotta find space to do swimming and do any of this kind of stuff.
But maybe you guys should start with let's see if you can do a 5k swim first.
5Ks.
Or like a 1 mile swim.
Cheapest.
A 1 mile swim.
In open water too.
Just open water, 1 mile swim.
I can't even do 100 meters in open water.
You know what I mean? Okay, you're trying to do a fucking Ironman.
Oh, it's a half Ironman. It's like 1.8 Ks of swimming.
I mean,
it's a softy
we're talking about
Ironman.
injuries here, guys. You're going to be injured.
I'm not worried about being injured. I'm worried about dying. That's the real concern.
You know what we should do is the other one, the torpedo thing.
The torpedo run.
Yeah. I'm gonna message Matt Schiff.
Yeah.
And change his
I
mind.
feel like Matt Schiff's gone from zero to hero.
Look, in running, you're gonna if you run a 21k, you can't die. Like it's very difficult to die.
I think I came close once. Honestly, I had such a great time running against Matthew, and that was the marathon. It was the half marathon we did.
It was the half marathon, yeah.
I couldn't walk for a week.
I was sore.
My
really
legs were broken. I've never felt that much pain in my legs from running.
But you didn't die.
Oh,
I didn't
didn't die. He was gone, man. He was like 10 minutes ahead of me.
Yeah. Matt had to stop for a poo halfway through. He was busy getting a sample for my collection.
Nice. But when you're swimming, you really, really can die. You can just drown, and that's the end of you.
Yeah, true.
So, I don't know. We'll see about that one.
Well, the
Courtney, you mustn't succumb to your fears.
Yes, you mustn't succumb to the sharks.
Yeah, just get out there. Just get out there and get some sun in your skin.
There's no
some
sharks
vitamin
in
D.
the fucking flay. I mean, in the open water.
That's exactly where they live, actually.
There's so much like fluttering and stuff. Maybe they'll stay away.
Oh,
or they'll
jeez.
come check it. What are the chances? I mean, look, You driving to work, there's more chance, man, actually.
Probably.
Yeah, I mean, read here. It says the stats on shark attacks in the flay is less than 5%.
Yeah, exactly.
In the Zikuflay.
You have more chance of getting injured in 3 years.
In Zikuflay. You're more likely to be stabbed at Zikuflay than to be eaten by
Rolling
sharks.
your ankle
if you're
tomorrow's
going to go
workout.
swim at Monwan BC or
Yeah.
what's that other place, Macassar,
You're more likely to be
Then-
stand on a bottle.
Yeah.
A broken bottle.
please be careful.
Yes. Anyway, we're extremely far off the topic. Right. But, okay, I found some more stats for you guys. Is that they did comparative programs. Apparently in the army in America, there's two types of conditioning programs. One is like what they call the extreme conditioning program, which is basically CrossFit. And it does like sort of kettlebells and speed work and throwing around big blocks
Sandbags.
of stuff. Yeah, sandbags and stuff like that. And then there's traditional physical training, which is like calisthenics and running and long distance and all that sort of thing. And they did injury studies on these two groups, and the injury rates were exactly the same. The people doing the extreme, in inverted commas, and the people doing the traditional stuff. So yeah, it's not that scary.
Don't be scared.
Don't be scared.
Go swim in the ocean.
Be prepared.
Don't be scared. Be prepared. So we got some injury rates overall there, Matt. You want to give those to us?
CrossFit training. Okay, we said this one already. 3.1 injuries per 1,000 hours trained.
Yeah.
Olympic weightlifting, 3.3 per 1,000 hours trained. Gymnastics, 3.1 per 1,000 hours trained. Rugby, 3 per 1,000 hours trained.
They're like almost
so they're all
exactly
the same. Yeah.
They're pretty much exactly the same.
I thought weightlifting was the least injury making sport in the world or something.
Rugby.
Weightlifting.
Weightlifting, yeah, I heard that.
Well, I don't know, but the strange thing is, like, if you do weightlifting, you probably get injured. You probably hurt your knees and your back and whatever, but it's not gonna kill you. But in some other sports, like rugby, how often do you get injured in rugby? But when you get injured in rugby, you've torn an ACL and you're out for 6 months. You know?
Yeah, listen, some sports are going to predispose you to more severe injuries than others.
Yeah.
And I guess when you sign up for a sport, what you want to do is make sure that you're prepared for any injury that might occur.
Yeah.
And if you sign the waiver, well, then you just gotta own it. You gotta just own it. Like if you get your ACL done or your shoulder dislocates, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. Okay. So there were a lot of sports with injury rates that are much higher than CrossFit, and these are like, they seem to be American sports.
Yeah.
I think Americans like to do crazy things.
Listen here, guys. It says American high school football is 140 per 1,000 exposure hours.
Compared to CrossFit being 3.
Is this
That's
still when they have all
unbelievable
that
to see.
shit all over them?
Yes, all those
Yes.
Yeah,
pads.
they have big pads and everything.
Yeah, well, that allows them to turn
just
themselves
smash
into
each
like
other.
human projectiles.
Yes.
Ice hockey, 78.4 injuries per 1,000 exposure hours.
Jeez.
I thought ice hockey would be more.
Ice
I
hockey-
always think of my fingers being cut off.
Yeah.
Yes.
As in, like you're skating around with your pinky fingers out fingers, and you land on the ice, and the guy just comes.
Yeah, it comes over. And
Gone.
you wouldn't even feel it immediately. And then you can see a little pinky sliding down. Do the guys have gloves in that sport?
Yeah,
Yes,
they have gloves.
they
They
do.
do.
But
I
they
do.
take them off to fight.
I keep thinking of the goalie, because he's like all like
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
padded.
he's-
pretty much just fills up the goalie block.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just stands there.
I think to score a goal in that sport, you got to be pretty fucking amazing.
Yeah. Like, I watched the video once about ice hockey.
We don't know anything about this stuff.
They
Someone's
have-
gonna message us.
I watched the video. They have enforcers. So there's like the I don't know if they still allow this. I think they might have stopped it, but they have like the big ugly guy on the team who's not afraid to fight, and his role is to protect like the skillful guy, the guy who can do the tricks and stuff.
Yeah.
Does he just smash them?
Yeah. So this guy, his job is to get into fights with everyone and just fuck up people.
Is he real, this person?
Yeah. In ice hockey.
What's his position
I
called?
don't know what position he's called, but they call them enforcers basically.
I mean,
I'm sure I watched like a Netflix documentary.
Courtney, I
about it.
think you'd make a great
I
enforcer.
think you're,
No.
you're
I just
enforcer.
talk to them and say, guys, please. stop fighting."
Did you know the injury rate for this sport is?
And they'll be like, okay.
Do you mind
Oh,
if I
yes,
do you
yes,
mind if I
that's fine.
pass on the left
Yes, let me
and try to
through.
score there on the right?
Okay. He's like, okay, Courtney, it's fine.
Yeah, it's
Just because
fine.
you asked nicely.
But I mean, let's be honest. These two particular sports they involve to some degree a large element of physical contact,
Yeah.
and that's what makes it exciting.
Yeah.
So the Americans said, "What sports can we do that is super exciting, that's going to bring in the crowds?
Dangerous.
Sports
There we go.
that require human beings on ice skates to run or ski into each other at full tilt.
Yes. And then take off their gloves and start smashing
We've
each
got
other.
on the ice or we've got on land.
Or on land.
We're
Which
just
would
going to
you
make a
prefer?
water one soon.
Yeah.
Like, why are all American hobbies dangerous? Like, you just think about it. Like, they have like monster trucks.
Yes.
They have once when you jump on a bull and the bull goes crazy.
Oh yeah, the bull riding. Yeah.
Bull riding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rodeo.
Rodeo, yeah.
Well, you do get a sport called underwater hockey.
That's also apparently very dangerous.
It can be. I mean, if you run out of breath.
Oh, apparently these guys grow like their toenails long and they start like
Yeah,
kicking
yeah.
each other and stuff.
No.
Oh, like no. Is it also an American sport?
Partial fact, yes.
Yes.
We'll take it. We'll take it.
And then also soccer is really dangerous. Like,
Soccer
yeah.
is 4 points. You said 4.25 per 1,000.
Yeah.
Soccer appears dangerous.
CrossFit was 3.
Yeah.
When I say it appears dangerous, have you seen the way those guys dive on
just
the
roll.
field?
Just keep rolling.
They
down.
honestly, they have incredible soccer careers, but when they're done, they go into acting.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I don't play soccer, and I never really played soccer, and I don't pay much attention to soccer.
That's you
when,
would make
when
a
the
great
World Cup,
soccer player.
when the World Cup comes around, I watch.
Yeah.
Yes.
So sliding into someone's legs is really bad. You get a
Yes.
red card for that.
No,
Yes.
not allowed.
How do?
Yeah.
Is there a grey area between like tackling? Let's say I go up to you and I want to get the ball away from your legs. How do we know if I'm doing it badly or not
Courtney,
badly?
You got to kick
You're
the
the
ball.
soccer specialist.
So you just got to get the ball from your legs.
Kick the ball first.
Kick the ball first.
Yes. You can't kick the guy's leg first.
Okay, yeah. So I come up, but now the guy's doing little twirly whirlies, and I'm
Yes.
trying my best to get the ball, and I bump his leg. Now I'm in trouble.
Yes,
So far, yes.
pretty much.
Oh, okay.
Your tackling has to be accurate.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you got to be just basically
Yeah.
your skill. The better you skilled, the more chance.
Yeah, which is why the slide tackle is so volatile, because you're basically pinpointing the ball, you're sliding in, and if at that moment the guy swerves and you make contact with your ankle, done.
Done.
Red.
Finished.
Done.
Red for you.
And-
no
and-
ankle for you.
Yeah, or yellow if it appeared to be less like vicious, but
Yeah.
studs up is vicious.
Yeah, studs up is vicious.
Oh.
And you're out of there. Wow.
Okay.
When I was younger,
Maybe I should start.
when I was younger, I would just slide tackle the guy and the ball.
When I was young, I didn't know these rules
Yeah.
or anything. I just go and get the ball.
Yeah, the geography teacher couldn't see fast enough whether you're making contact with the shin or the ball, so
It's fine, you let it go.
just let it go. You know, that poor oak, like when he saw you coming, he'd run away.
Yes. I used to be a vicious tackler in hockey. I think I was like
do you
right
tackle
half
in
or
hockey?
something. You just get down and you bend over and you put your shoulder in and you hold your shoulder in there and you wait for the guy to run into you.
Really?
Courtney, I wouldn't put you down as one of those types of guys.
One of those
Sounds
guys.
dangerous.
That sounds dangerous.
Yeah, hockey,
Yeah.
Does hockey have? You wear shin things?
Yeah.
Do you wear ball guard?
No.
Testicle guard?
No.
No.
A testy
Like a ball box.
protector.
You test the protector. Like in cricket.
Apparently it's dangerous. There's no. I wish we had numbers for that.
For
Apparently
hockey.
it's dangerous.
Hockey is really
It's
dangerous.
worse
You know,
than
I-
rugby injuries.
At high school, I saw some kids lose their front teeth
Yes.
in
Yeah.
hockey.
I've seen. Well, not seen. My buddy knocked in his cheekbone,
Yeah.
and the whole thing just like crumbled. So that it's just metal.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah. Just
From
like
hockey?
metal. Yeah.
Jeepers.
It's
I'll be honest, my kids aren't going to get a hockey stick.
They're not playing any sports except CrossFit.
Yeah, they'll play rugby, CrossFit,
the sport of fitness.
yeah,
Yes, anything that's under 5 per 1,000 hours.
maybe darts.
Darts. And throw at each other.
He's just gonna end up a smoker and a drinker,
Mm.
and with a good aim.
Yes. Just hustling for money in a
Hustle for the Red Bull.
in dart bars. So
Also
apparently
the bullseye.
the bullseye. Yeah.
Mm.
So apparently, compared to other sports, CrossFitters, which are a bunch of complainers, are 1.3 times more likely to self-report an injury, and 1.8 times more likely than the average sports person to seek medical attention for the injury.
Well, fuck yes.
Ah,
I mean, what are we going to roll around in bed with an injury?
So apparently, CrossFitters are just big babies that complain about everything.
No. When I get an injury, I'm going to say, hey, Chris, my back hurts.
Yeah.
I'm not deadlifting tomorrow. And then coach will say, good call.
Yeah.
Let's deadlift 2 weeks from now when you're healed up.
He'll say you're just a baby,
You're
No,
a big
no, no,
softy.
a big softy.
No.
You should
Maybe the
partner.
coaches of the past would say that, but if you think like that, you're done.
But
You
like-
can't operate that way.
Anecdotally, if you think about it, like nobody else complains about like rugby players. They don't complain they're injured. They try to like hide their injuries from the coach. But like when you go to CrossFit and everyone's like, oh man, my shoulder is this, my back is this, my neck is this. So I think we're just a bunch of babies overall.
I think the whole injury thing in CrossFit and stuff fits into the package of CrossFit.
Yes.
It's a thing.
It's a part of the culture.
Even the whole rhabdo thing was like, in the beginning there was that whole rhabdo like ambassador.
Yes.
The clown or whatever.
Pookie.
Yeah, the
Pookie,
and Uncle
the
Rhabdo
clown.
or something. And like I think it fits into the whole package. Like, I got a sore wrist.
No, guys.
It's like
No.
it's like
No. Listen here.
Do you show people your ripped fingers and
No,
hands as well?
that was CrossFit. That was when CrossFit was amateur. When CrossFit was amateur, people were proud of the fact that they were doing something perceived as being hardcore.
Yeah.
So if they ripped their hand, they'd be like, "Oh my god, I got my first rip."
Yes.
Yeah. And it's
on
like,
Instagram.
"Oh, my knees are so sore because I squatted 200 for 5."
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll do it again
You
in
know?
one day.
Yeah.
That's what Justin still does.
Now it's more professional. People are smarter and wiser. You don't go on Instagram and see people posting of their ripped hands anymore.
I want to see it. Let's bring it back.
Yeah, please post ripped hands. #, No Rex Podcast ripped.
It's not cool anymore.
No,
it's not cool to be the guy sitting on the sideline watching your best friend bang out 30 unbroken butterfly pull-ups, and you're standing here, you can't even hold
And
a
the
fucking
blood's
shopping
running
bag.
down, dripping off your, off your elbow.
Like
Yeah.
everyone's looking at you like you're the idiot.
So back in 2009, when there was blood dripping on the floor, and you didn't mop the floors of Cape CrossFit, there was no cleaning ladies. Things were different back in the day.
Well, I'm assuming I wasn't here in 2009, but it's possible, yes.
It's possible.
It's possible.
You lift up those tiles, you still find blood underneath there.
Listen, I told 2 guys today in the rip climb workout that they don't have any shin protection, so they had to scale.
Look
Oh,
at
really?
Uncle. This is a real guy. This is Uncle Rhabdo. Look at his guts and stuff
Oh,
coming out.
jeez.
Show the audience.
Uncle Rhabdo.
Look at Uncle Rhabdo.
We need a t-shirt.
Yeah. That was when people didn't know how to moderate their
His
volume and
his
intensity.
kidneys out and his intestines are hanging out of his bum.
He sounds like he needs a perennial.
Oh, jeez. He needs to sun that thing.
Listen, what is Rhabdo?
Okay, so the last thing we've got, or one of the last things we've got, is actually why do these injuries happen? And the thing that they've spoken about in CrossFit is that overuse injuries are the most common. And I think we've spoken about
The
that earlier.
niggles.
Yeah, that overuse niggle. And I think that just comes down to programming, eh?
Yeah. Programming and also being smart. Like I think athletes back in the day saw it as a weakness when they're backed away from training. I think today it's still prevalent. It's like, well, if I don't do my programming today, I'm going to fall behind, I'm going to lose out. But in actual fact, I think we underestimate the power of recovery. And I'm not advocating skipping your program, but I am advocating trying to be wise in your decisions.
Yeah.
And I think it's important that coaches empower their athletes to take a smarter, more efficient route than just pushing through anything.
Yeah, and I think it's also part of the culture, like Matt was saying about the culture earlier. Like before, when we were just going to like do bro splits, you do like 3 days a week, and that was like the program. And if it was like a really hectic program, it was like 4 days a week, back and biceps one day, and then chest and triceps the other day, and whatever. But now it's like I got to do CrossFit every day. Like I said to Matt earlier, like I'm gonna miss CrossFit today because we're coming to record, but like maybe I should do it first, or maybe I should like and
Squeeze it in.
Yeah, we're like so scared to miss a session.
Of course,
Yeah.
because you feel like you're going to fall behind. And the reality is more volume does equal more fitness, but at the same time so does more intensity. So if you rest more than the next guy, but you're coming in feeling fresher and able to push harder, you can close the gap.
Yeah.
So it's when you're missing maybe like 3 out of 5 sessions that it starts becoming a problem.
Yeah.
Think about it this way: if you today's workout, the rope climbs and the salt bike, if you did some random hypertrophy training yesterday where you squatted 5x5 and your legs are smashed,
Yeah.
and you came in today and you did the assault bike piece, but you really just couldn't generate any intensity on the bike, you're missing the whole point and stimulus of the workout. You might as well not even do it.
Yeah.
So whether you rest or you come in and you just fuck around and get the session done is irrelevant, really. You should probably just take the day off, rest up completely, and then come in and smash the programming the next day,
Yeah.
provided that you're still remaining well-rounded.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. So you remember on .com, I'm sure it's still the same, It used to be like 2 days on, 1 day off.
Yeah, wasn't that the old thing?
Yeah, the old CrossFit style was Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday on, Thursday off, Friday, Saturday on, Sunday off.
Yeah.
No, isn't Thursday like the international
rest day?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For CrossFit.
Yeah. Are we still following that?
Yeah.
I would say no, because the notion nowadays is that the program is well-rounded enough for the average Joe that they don't need to take Thursday off completely. If you're new to CrossFit, you might even be encouraged to go 1 day on, 1 day off, 1 day on, 1 day off.
Yeah.
Because the recovery is as important as the training, as we've said.
Yeah.
When you sleep and you eat and you stretch, your body's actually growing and it's evolving and it's getting stronger.
Yeah.
When you just can't in a constant state of breakdown and a catabolic state, you're actually going backwards.
Yeah.
So for a newbie, it might work better that way, but for a more advanced athlete, 3 on, 1 off, or 5 on, 1 off.
Yeah.
Well, then settled then. I'll train on Thursdays and we won't record.
Yes.
Cancel the podcast.
Cancel the show. It's our last show today, guys.
Yeah, thanks guys.
Thanks for listening.
And
But
then,
I'm glad you said that, because one of the things we found in the research is that one of the biggest predictors of an injury about to happen is a sudden spike in your training volume. So like Justin said, you used to train once or twice a week and you suddenly start CrossFit or whatever and you're training 6 days a week. Or you used to just train on the normal class program and now you suddenly go into like a full competitors program and you're training like 3 hours a day, 5 days a week or whatever.
That makes sense. Just more
Guys, as soon as I add to my regular training volume, even one session in the week that's deemed to be a qualifier or a session that is of higher intensity or importance, it has an impact on my body.
Yeah.
Like this week we did 2 qualifiers. We did that past week we did
Egypt
Q1 and Asia Q1.
Yeah.
Like I'm struggling with like a tired body at the moment, and I need to go see physio in Cairo to make sure that everything is in alignment.
Yeah.
You know, if I don't and I neglect those signs and I just keep pushing on top of that volume with the intensity, that's when the body gives in.
Yeah.
So that's where you got to be smart. You know, you've got to be push smart. Thank you. And you have to have some plans in place to accommodate for that volume. I mean, look what happened to you when you did 5-3-1 the other day. When was that? Saturday.
Yes.
So Matt, to give the listeners some perspective, you guys did a shitload of back squats.
Yeah.
Including lunges
between every.
So you chose 2 like compound movements which just smashed the entire body basically.
The best movements in the world.
Courtney came to me halfway through the workout. He said, "Justin, my legs are so sore, I can't continue."
And that was Wednesday.
And I said, "But Courtney, it's Wednesday." And he's like, "Justin, I think I'm gonna just walk away." I said, "Courtney, you're doing toes to bar and your legs hurt. So how does that work out? Rather, just do a little bit of light bike and get the toes to bar done." And Courtney said, "Okay, that's a good idea." But this story we tell is a perfect example of where adding volume and intensity in an unfamiliar fashion can have adverse effects.
Oh man, I was in the warm-up and I was saying to Matt, "I'm not going to do it. I can't do it." And he said, no, after the first set, you'll be nice and warm.
Halfway through, I saw you wheeling the bike down.
I was wheeling the bike in like a fucking Zimmer frame of Courtney so he could just stand.
So don't do that. And we've seen it so often. Like guys do the normal class and then they're like, "I'm not strong enough, so I'm going to do extra squats."
Yeah.
And then instead of doing a once a week squat program, they do like a 4 times a week squat program. And then there's
Smolov.
Yes, Smolov.
I mean, can you even?
And then like 3 weeks later, the guy's like, "Oh, I'm injured now." And you're like, wow, what a surprise.
Listen. That I know Chris will agree with me. That is one of my pet hates, is that athletes that want to get stronger faster or see results quicker, they think they need to do more. But what they forget, and we're going back to what we just said, by doing more, you're stealing from the next day's intensity. Unless you are a competitive athlete with a mental fortitude of Matt Fraser, there's going to be a carryover effect, and you most likely are going to either take the day off completely because you're too sore, or you're going to come in and you're not going to get the workout done and achieve the true stimulus. So what's the answer to someone that wants to get fitter? Go harder within the framework that's provided by the program.
Yeah.
Don't necessarily always do more.
Yeah.
I was those guys in the first year when I started here. I was doing the class, and then I would go and do like my own little set of back squats.
I remember.
After the class.
I remember.
Just like,
I'm sure Chris and I used to talk about it, and I was like, Chris, listen, that's just what he does. He's like, no, but you got to talk to this guy. You can't just be doing lateral flies and bench press.
I was also
And I was like, I'm sure he will learn to fall into the culture of what we're trying to do. He's like, yeah, but he's gonna hurt himself. It's like, yeah, but that's who he is. He's a training addict. He feels like he needs to keep doing more and more and more and more. And true as Bob, he finally gave in.
I gave in, man. I got tired. By the end of the week, I was fucked. I was like, no. And Chris always said, trust the programming.
Trust the programming. And Matt's like, yeah.
I know, trust the programming, but let me do some squats.
But just let me do what I want.
Okay, so we'll close up with how to prevent injuries. So firstly, don't
do CrossFit.
Don't do CrossFit, that's it. And don't spike your training volume. If you're going to do extra stuff, like go in slowly. Look, I don't have a problem with doing extra bench press once a week.
Yes.
You're not going to die. And you're not gonna, your shoulders won't fall off. But don't suddenly do 3 extra squat sessions in a week. It's a bit silly. Yeah.
I think so much of it falls on obviously who you are and what you've been doing.
Yeah.
So it'd be great if we knew what the workouts were.
Yeah. Tell us what the workouts for the whole week, please, Justin.
Yeah.
Send us the spreadsheet.
Tell us right now.
Tell us.
It's only coming out on Tuesday.
Tell all the viewers, all the listeners.
Then they can all get their squats in.
Yes. And then obviously get a coach, because the research all shows that if you work with a coach, your injury rate goes down dramatically. Yeah. You had some funny stories, Justin?
Yeah, I just thought while we're on the topic of injuries, we should probably talk about some funny moments when we've been in the gym.
Let's first say, what is the biggest injury you've ever had?
I think the biggest, how are you defining that though?
Okay, let's say a severe, you had to stop for 3 weeks, 2 weeks.
Jeez,
3
my
weeks.
worst injury was when I fractured my L5-S1 totally out of the blue. What felt like for me at the moment, at least. I was in the Open in 2016. It was the second workout. I went down for a deadlift. I got the bar about as high as my knee, and my L5-S1 just went bah. And I looked at Chris, and Chris looked at me, and I was like, I can't continue. And he came over to me, and he was like, okay, cool, it's fine, don't worry, we'll address this, and we'll sort it out. It was quite bad. I had to pretty much hobble off the floor. Walking was tough, and I think that was my first experience with high volumes of inflammation in my lower back as an inexperienced athlete. And I didn't know what I was feeling, and I wasn't so sure how to address it. I was just going through the notions of the Open. Do the workout once, do the workout twice, maybe do it a third time if you have to.
Yeah.
And the body was sore and it was hurting, but I guess this is what you did as a CrossFitter.
Yeah, just recover for a few days and then go again. And what I realized in that year is that the volume at that point was quite immense for my body, and I wasn't doing enough mobility. So I was training and I was causing tension and tightness, and the body was taking on a certain shape and form, and I wasn't resetting it with ROMWOD and stretching. I'm sure you guys agree, back then mobility was mobility, but it wasn't, I wouldn't say it was a huge part of the culture in our gym, or even for me as an individual at that point. So it took me out for about 8 weeks. I had to do strict training. I went for x-rays, I went for MRIs, and Chris put me on a ultra strict program, no kipping, no hyperextension, and it taught me so much about my body. It taught me how to brace my midline properly. It taught me how to lift with 0 breaks in form. It taught me how to handstand walk like a pin. I was absolutely blessed, I think, by the injury, and it taught me how to address niggles and things like that. It's not really a funny story, but that was my worst injury. No, that was just on you.
And you, Kurt?
My worst injury is not CrossFit related. I was playing indoor cricket, action cricket, and I just didn't warm up. I think I was running a bit late for the game, and I just started bowling. And obviously bowling is a very fast shoulder action.
I just bowling.
Messed up my shoulder. That was it.
That day, you knew it was from that day.
Yeah.
When you say you messed up your shoulder, what does that mean?
It was sore from that day until today.
Yes.
That was probably 10 years ago.
A little piece of chipped bone floating in the corner.
Yes. So it's got better over the years, but it'll never be as balanced as I was before that.
Yeah. Okay, and you, Matt?
Mine is a poor man's version of your one. It was the exact same year, the exact same open.
Yes.
It was the same workout.
Yes.
It's the only open I beat you in.
Okay.
Because I could carry on.
Okay.
I complete back spasm. I went for no tests or anything. Well, I went for the test. They told me it's back spasm. And there's a reason it's spasming, but we don't know what it was.
Okay.
I basically rested. I could suck it up through everything. It really hurts. We did the regionals, and then I had to rest for a month afterwards. And
then it
went
sorted
away.
itself out.
Yeah, so it must have been just something small that made the back spasm.
Frustrating.
Yes, it hurt.
I remember that time. We were both like, my back's fucked, your back's fucked. What is this thing called?
And we were going to Spain.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, let me tell you, like, one note that I did make in my athlete Confessions of a CrossFit Athlete diary. I noted that after doing that strict program for 8 weeks prior to regionals, because that was the goal, to get me healthy enough to go to regionals, I came back and I PB'd everything.
Oh, really?
Like, I performed out of my socks. It was the strongest and most confident I'd ever been, which is why I say that injury was maybe one of the better things that ever happened to me, as much as it was frustrating.
Kind of calms you down and makes you...
Yeah, it calms you down. It makes you take things more seriously, you know.
Yeah.
Like, if you're feeling inflammation in a joint, it's your body's way of telling you, slow down, think about your technique, mechanics first, then consistency, then you build intensity. And I do believe that is something we need to remind ourselves of more often.
Yeah.
Cool. Anyway, I just wanted to tell you a quick funny story.
Yeah.
My man Sean Pretorius. You guys know Sean Pretorius? If there's an injury to be had, Sean will have it. Sean will find it. Sean will do it. And if you say, Sean, this is what I want you to avoid, it'll happen. Couple of things. Sean climbed up the brand new ropes in the gym a couple months ago. Brand new. I said, guys, they've got the shrink wrap on the end. It gives it this like weighted feeling. Please be careful when they swing around. They can hit you in the face, and it would be uncomfortable if it hits you. Sean proceeds to do a legless rope climb. As he goes, he kicks the bottom end of the rope, hits him in the nose, square on the nose. He comes down, there's blood everywhere. He walks out, and he comes back with toilet paper and all sorts stuck in his nose, and he proceeds with the workout. I was like, Sean, man, I'm so sorry that happened. It looked really sore. He's like, fuck it, whatever. A couple of days later, he comes in. We're doing a dumbbell box step over workout. 222.5s, you swing the dumbbell, step on the box, step over. Yeah. And Sean proceeds to catch the edge of the box with the edge of the dumbbell. Foot doesn't make it on the box. Falls down on top of the box, doesn't let go of the dumbbells.
Oh, jeez.
Proceeds to jam both of his hands between the dumbbell and the box.
Oh.
And literally there's just blood everywhere. Blood and bruising and fuck it. When you just look at someone, you feel their pain.
Yeah.
He lay there. He looked at me. I looked at him, like thinking that he was going to swear or go nuts. He just picked up the dumbbells and he kept going.
Oh, jeez.
Couldn't believe it. Anyway, just when I thought things were turning up for Sean, looking up, he comes to a 1 rep max box jump day.
Oh no, that's not a good day.
And I said, guys, should you want to get closer to the box, I want you to turn it on a 45-degree angle. Alright? You can get slightly closer and you can obviously not hit the knees on the way up.
Yeah.
I said, I've never seen someone come short and hit their nuts on the edge, because of course we're using plates now to build higher. Usually what would happen is you would jump and you would push yourself away if you back out of the jump.
Yeah.
Sean proceeds to jump, not brace himself with his hands, backs out of the jump, and comes straight down on the edge of the box.
Oh no.
Hits himself on the gooch.
Jeepers.
I hear his voice go, as this happens. Looked like his nuts had shot up into his throat. And he looks at me like, you motherfucker. You said no one's ever hit their balls. And I just did. And I was like, Sean, I could have said anything and you would have done it.
Oh,
you know? Yeah, the most recent thing that happened to him, the final story I have about Mr. Sean Pretorius,
Sean.
is that after watching Jason Smith drop the bar on himself in the Dubai Fitness Challenge, or Championship,
I've
whatever
seen
it's
his
called,
legs.
Sean proceeded to do this with 84 kilos in my class the other day.
Oh.
1 power clean, 3 push jerks, 3rd push jerk, brings the bar down, his knees buckle, bar basically whips him across the body.
Oh.
He has bruises on his body that
bruises
I can't even...
like straight above the knees, like big
Really?
bruises.
I
Yeah.
can't even begin to describe to you what it looks like.
Oh, jeez. So he's accident waiting to happen.
Shame. I feel sorry for Sean.
With Sean in a bubble,
Yes.
Yeah.
cotton wool bubble.
Shame.
Keegan Lazarus once tried to beat me at a set of 21 unbroken butterfly pull-ups after a 300 meter ski.
Mm.
He proceeded to slip off the bar and concuss
man.
himself.
Man, that's my biggest
Out.
fear.
Out.
It's falling off
That was the
bar.
end. That was the end of the workout for him. He had to go to the hospital, and I told him to never try and out pull up.
Never
me
try
ever
and
again.
beat me
Suicide
again.
gripping.
No, he was normal gripping. He just 21. The second round of 21 was just
Couldn't hold.
too much.
He's
Yeah.
a big boy.
He's a big boy with a big heart, and he backed himself, which I appreciate and value in him. But
Soz.
Soz.
Besides Kegels.
Sorry, Keegan.
I'm so scared of falling off the bar doing gymnastics. I always do like 1 or 2 reps less than I think I can do, just so I don't fall off that thing.
Yeah, it happens. It definitely happens.
Okay. So you got any listener feedback today, Matt?
Do I have listener feedback? So the first one I got back after asking for questions,
Yeah.
and was from the biggest dick of them all.
Who's that? Justin.
Yes,
Justin sent some feedback.
I said fuck off, feedback.
it was the other biggest dick,
Yeah.
Courtney Dick.
He said,
He said,
"Where do you get these rubbish
"Where do you
songs?"
get these songs?" This is Baker Street
Yeah.
by what's his name, Garrett Rafferty.
Do you listen to like
Jerry
Smile
Rafferty.
90.4?
Oh, it's a good song.
I recognise
It's a famous song.
It's like porno music.
Yeah, that's why it's
Yeah.
famous.
Is it?
That's why we've all heard it.
Really?
Yes, that's where I heard it.
That video.
And then that was it. No one cares.
No one cares.
No one cares. Let's have a look. Let's see. We got 53 views, and one person replied, and it was the guy that's on the show as a host.
Yes. Our biggest fan of the show is
So
me.
thank you, everyone.
Yeah, okay. So, guys, send us DMs. Otherwise, we don't know if anyone's actually out there
Yeah.
in the world.
Are you all real? Andy told us that there's 6 strings to a guitar.
Yes, Justin
Because
got that
last
wrong.
week you said 5, and then there's 4 on a ukulele.
And there's actually 6.
Well, you said 5 on a normal guitar. I think.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't go.
Thank you, Andrew Munich.
Yeah, thanks, Andy.
Appreciate that.
Thanks, Andy. Well, that's all we have time for today.
Yes.
So, as usual, if you want to send us an email or Instagram us or Facebook us, which none of you ever do, so I don't know why I keep saying it, but it's noresultsmedia@gmail.com, @norexpodcast, 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 and that's it.
Yes, emails and everything. We did
Emails
get one
and
email this week.
Oh, where is it?
I won't disclose it, but someone did sign up.
Really?
Yeah.
Someone signed up. Good.
Yeah.
So you'll not be getting an email because we haven't sent it.
You won't, but thank you for getting on the list there.
But thanks anyway.
Because we're gonna start bothering you soon.
Alright guys, we'll see you next week for episode number 20.
20.1.
Bye.
20.1. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay. That was cool.
Lovely work, boys. No edits for me on that one.
No edits.
Straight through.
Oh yes, you won't have to listen to it.
No,
You won't have to worry about that other part like last week when Justin walked out. Did you listen to last week's show,
Did
Justin?
you listen
I
to the
did,
show yet?
yeah.
I forgot to edit the piece of you leaving.
Where I left.
I actually
Yeah.
just forgot that happened.
Yeah.
So
What did I say?
You were like, guys, I have an intro
guys have to
in
stop.
5 minutes. Can we just be done in 5 minutes?
yeah, and then you still like clapped it in.
Yeah.
Oh,
So-
fuck.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But well, like I don't listen to the podcast for like an hour. I just skim through
Yes,
bits
bits and
where
bobs.
it's loud, and I
Yes.
also rely on the clap part.
Okay, cool.
And I just missed it completely.
And the clap
I usually
shows
also
you-
just rely on memory because I know, okay, well, we stuffed up twice.
Listen, I think so many people, like on average, the number of people that listen and the number of people that listen from start to finish.
Yeah, and with like actually listening.
Precision.
Yeah.
Is so
A
small.
lot of it gets missed.
Yeah. So if anybody's made it this far,
Yeah, exactly.
If you made it this far, guys,
you're the winner.
you're the winner.
You you have grit.
You got grit. You win.
Mental
some
fortitude.
salami and actually only one cracker, because I'm eating the other one.
Yeah.
I can confirm now that Justin did not figure out how to turn the camera on in 1 hour.
No.
And it's probably because the battery's dead.
So we'll try again next week.
Try again next week.